ABC Kinderteach presents Do Is Tech, written by Carson Ellis. In this story, they use a bunch of made-up words, and we have to try to figure out as best we can what the story is about and what they might be saying. Do is tech, ma nazut. Do is tack, and they're pointing towards this green thing, this little plant. So I wonder if they're saying, this one's saying, what is that? And this one says, maybe, I don't know. That's what my guess would be. And look, there's a caterpillar climbing up this little stick. Ta-ta! Well, ta-ta must mean goodbye. And it's hanging upside down, and caterpillars, when they hang upside down, they form a cocoon, maybe? Du is tak, ma ebado unk plank, du kima plank, ma nazut. Well, let's see. This one says, maybe, what is that? This one says, I think it might be a plant. Do you think it's a plant? I don't know. We don't know if this is right. We're just doing our best. Rubada unk rebel su por inken iki. Well, it looks like they're trying to jump up to the top leaf, so they can't. So what would you use to get up higher on something? Well, if it was me, I'd probably go find a ladder. So maybe they're saying we need a ladder, and maybe this one says su, which means yes. And bor inken iki. Maybe they know someone who has a ladder. And maybe the person they're looking for is someone whose name is Icky. Icky, Icky, Icky! So it looks like they're pounding on this stump. Maybe Icky is inside. Icky, rubada unk ribble. So that must be Icky. I wonder if they're asking him if he has a ladder. There's a ladder. There's Icky, unk ribble. So look at there's a ladder. A ladder. Rudaden duden unk furt. Su. Well, we think su and su is yes and yes. And they have this ladder now. And it looks like what they're needing to make is something like a furt. I don't know what that is. We may have to wait and see what this is. And then there's some music playing in the nighttime. Do 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 do. And the next day, they're bringing a pirate's flag and a bunch of wood and an acorn. So it looks like they're making something up in this plant, on this plant. A furt. They're making a furt. I wonder what that might be, a furt. Rup furt. They're making a fort, I bet. I bet they're making a fort. And it looks like Icky is watching them. Woo back! Booby woo back! Rup furt. So they must say, oh no, very no good. Or maybe it's because there's a spider up there, right? So they're saying, danger, great danger. Does that sound better? Maybe. And this one looks sad, so they're saying our fort, like the spider took it over, so they lost their fort, because they certainly aren't going to go up there with that spider, that's for sure. And look at, there's the cocoon. Oh, and a bird came along. Ooh, it looks like it must have captured the spider, so maybe the spider is gone. Look at, the spider's gone, so they have their fort back. Sue! Must be, yes! So they have their fort back. And it looks like it's getting closer to the fall maybe too. And look at what's happening here. It looks like there might be some type of flower coming out. Du is tak. What is that, I bet? Ooh. Oh, okay. They may say, oh, pretty, maybe, because it looks like it's going to be pretty. Unk gladden boot is unk gladden boot. Unk gladden boot. Unk scrivadelle gladden boot. Ah, unk gladden boot. So is tak und gladden boot. Unk gladden boot. So they seem to be commenting about the flower, so it must be, look at, maybe this says, a flower is a flower. A flower. Maybe a pretty flower. Ah, a flower. Yes. Is that a flower? And then they say, a flower. That's what I'm thinking is what they might be saying. I can't be 100% sure, but I think that's what they're saying. Tata udas, which means maybe goodbye. Udas must be like friends, maybe. So it looks like Icky and maybe his wife are going to go back into their log. Tata Icky, which means must be goodbye, right? Tata Uki. Oh, so this must be Icky and this must be Uki, and they're saying goodbye. Oh, and it looks like the flower is starting to get old and somewhat dried up, so it must be getting later in the summer and maybe even in the fall. And it keeps getting more and more withered. Ta-ta, fort, which means bye-bye, fort. They must be leaving for the season. And then there's playing at night, and it looks like it's almost all shriveled up. It's kind of almost ready to dry up. And then there's the person playing the music. Do 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 do. And still more playing. Do 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 do. And look at, the plant has dried up. And now it's winter time. I wonder if Icky and Uki are in their stump. What's going to happen next? It must be back to springtime, and guess what? There is a bunch of gladden boot, maybe flowers coming up. And then another insect comes along and says, Du is tak, which means maybe, what is that? What is that? What is that? And it all starts over again.